Get cozy everybody, because today we'll continue on with a game called Danganronpa Single File. Let's go. Where were we? Here we are. Those two seem like a pair of troublemakers. Going from my hermit lifestyle to peacemaking between two unruly adults has been a challenge.
Now see here.
Mr. Dodger's the peace broker, isn't he? Why am I the one who's charged with keeping them from killing one another? Is that what you get from them? A couple of troublemakers? Well, yeah, despite my complaining, neither of them seemed genuinely dangerous.
Don't be an idiot.
I wouldn't be so sure. That ultimate peace broker is indeed a public figure, but I wouldn't put stock into what he says. It's all lies. There were rumors floating around that a tell-all story was going to come out about his zero-kill killing game that would have put him in a bad light. Is that so? Damn, there must be another part of my memory that's missing.
Trust me.
All I'm saying is, if you're playing this game seriously despite it being a mock killing game, then don't take his so-called level of peace for granted. And don't assume that the muscle freak begging for a gun is your friend either.
Very well.
If I can adopt just a pinch of your cynicism, I ought to be well prepared for any betrayal. I think we're done with everything. Armory. Relax. Review with Miss Xavier. I've been to each destination now. I believe I've met everyone there is to meet. The introductions were enlightening. In fact, I think I now have a multitude of new topics to discuss with Miss Xavier. Before I can hail her, the woman appears on the spyglass's projected screen, hovering mid-air like a specter. You've got that look on your face. The one tells me that you aren't satisfied with something. It's a look I'm all too familiar with as the ultimate research assistant. We're going to pull apart this whole experiment of yours in real time, aren't we?
Very well.
I'm afraid we must. You are correct. I have a lot on my mind. Meeting the others have alleviated certain worries while giving rise to new ones. If reducing my worries is really one of your goals here, please answer me just a few queries. Maya's opinion of the others. What did you make of the others, Mr. Xavier? I can't tell whether I should be pleased that they all have killing game experience or if their experiences in killing games warped them in some way. I picked up on that in a few cases. They got plenty of screws loose. I think it'd be wise to remember that not everybody who exits a killing game alive is guaranteed to be a saint. The opposite might be more likely after all. The normal way to exit a killing game isn't surviving without killing.
Now see here.
Grr. Let's try to focus on the positives for a moment. What do you make of their personalities? They all seem very dedicated to survival. Mr. Eatwell's preparedness, Miss Wrong's training, the mechanical knowledge of the Sullivan brothers. I can begin to believe that there are people the Future Foundation put their trust in. Is that what you really thought? To me, they seem like an annoying bunch of clowns, and egocentric madmen like you ought to fit right in. You must have organized the killing games roster yourself by bringing all of these automatons in. So let me ask, what do you think of your taste in captives? Can you decipher why you picked each of them for this role? Was it to make things challenging for the killer, or was it to make them challenging for you to work with as a survivor? The latter seems more likely to me. I think you deliberately picked a bunch of absolute bozos just to see if you could live through a game with them.
Now see here.
Damn it, Warren, I'm not asking for your insane hypotheticals right now. Is it too much to us to try to see the good in the human captives here along with us? You're asking a robot to see the good in other robots. You really have lost your mind. There's nothing left of your sense as a roboticist, is there? Well, I'm sure it's in there. We'll get you back to normal. There was another question you wanted to ask, wasn't there? The killing games that were mentioned. There is something that bothered me about everyone's answers when I tried to get them to tell me about their respective killing game experiences. They all dodged the question. You must have noticed it as well. At first I thought it was just their discomfort at the subject, but that aspect was totally uniform.
Of course.
I wonder. Certainly it's meant to shroud their motivations. That's not how you spell it. Another set piece of this game of yours.
Now see here.
But it doesn't actually make sense, does it? Shouldn't learning about other experiences be as simple as asking one of the others? Or hell, you? The killing games of the past have all been, without exception, televised. Someone should have seen how those events played out. I'm only missing that info because of the hole in my memories, correct?
Don't be an idiot.
Actually, no. I guess your memory loss is so total that you've forgotten about Win as well. Win. Otherwise known as World Interest News. It's a highly secure news network that's designed to broadcast outside of the tampering of the Ages of Despair, established only about 6 months ago. As a temporary measure, they are now controlling all broadcast media in the civilized world. This ensures that the killing game broadcasts don't reach much of the populace, lessening the creep of despair. So far, that aspect's working almost perfectly. There are a few mishaps here and there, agents inside WIT and so forth, but no failures on large scale.
Of course.
You can bet that the Future Foundation has a lot of writing on the continued operation of WIN.
Now see here.
I wonder if that's okay, to hide what's going on in the killing games away from the average viewer.
Don't be an idiot.
Of course it's preferable. No one's forgotten about the killing games, but no one should be subjected to the 24/7 reel of death the Ages of Despair are trying to play. You of all people should understand that. Never mind. Miss Xavier went quiet. My criticism of Win seemed to get her unusually heated. But is such a censorship method really ideal? I can't help but think it could weaken people's preparation for the games if they can simply avert their eyes. At any rate, that explains why neither she nor anyone else can explain the games that the others participated in to me. Damn it. Lack of evidence for the robot theory. There's just one more thing I'd like to say to conclude our review. My goal here is to still protect human lives. My conclusion is that the others here with me are most likely fellow human beings.
Now see here.
As an expert in automatons myself, I did not get the sense that these were artificial life forms. To me, they seem like living beings with their own histories, personalities, and motivations. Much like yourself, Miss Xavier. Damn, still in denial. I thought seeing your own creations might spark your memory. You're going to need to show me some better evidence. From what I could tell, they even have hunger and a desire to consume food. It would be most accurate to say that I have seen no proof that they are, as you say, robotic life forms.
Don't be an idiot.
I sliced myself open for nothing, didn't I? Have you already forgotten that demonstration?
Now see here.
Don't remind me. Not to belittle your sacrifice, but that unwarranted and unwanted demonstration is not as bulletproof as you might think. There are all sorts of ways the illusion could be built. Leaving aside the possibility of unwrapping my bandage so you can stick 2 fingers into the goddamn wound like you're one of Jesus' disciples. Run through this hypothetical with me. Say they are all humans that were captured along with you and me. Where does that leave us? I would say that leaves us 2 distinct possibilities. First, that they were humans recruited by the Future Foundation for a training exercise, as the cover story suggests. The second, and perhaps more likely, that they are human captives inside the new killing game.
Impossible.
Actually, it's worse than that. If we've been trapped in my laboratory along with my research has been compromised, the Ages of Despair have everything. My projects, all of my surveillance data, and all of my contacts inside the Future Foundation.
Victor.
Exactly, but you needn't panic. The fact that you have been made to wallow in this confused state is nothing more than a ludicrous oversight in your own experiment. You didn't expect your memory loss to be so total when you induced it. It's now become paranoia. I am the failsafe that prevents you from acting rashly in this situation.
Now see here.
I don't mean to seem ungrateful. However, I can only act on theory supported by evidence. Right now, you seem to be as likely to be the mastermind behind all of this as anyone else does, perhaps more so. I am the ultimate research assistant. I won't allow you to lose yourself to this paranoid delusion. That's my priority above all. The success of this asinine, miscalculated experiment is not worth the price of losing you. So as much as you might want to reject the truth or make it hard for me to cooperate with you, I will protect you no matter what it takes. I won't abandon you for the sake of my own pride. Protect me, but I thought I wasn't in danger. Perhaps she means protecting me from the danger of losing myself inside of this amnesiac experiment.
Now see here.
Miss Xavier, you didn't need worry about that. What is it? Before I had a chance to retort, I was forced to reckon With my own predicament, the train had begun to move on its own. It bothered me for but a moment, before logic kicked in. I didn't worry about the train's movement just because I'm alone aboard. After all, the train begins to move when summoned to any other location. It's headed back to the laboratory, so I can only assume that Maya had got impatient and pushed the button herself. Are you all healed up, Miss Xavier?
Thanks, I guess.
I have been for a while, but I decided it was preferable to scope out the field through your spyglass instead of going through that embarrassing meet and greet like you did.
Now see here.
Damn it, you're going to have to introduce yourself one way or another. Yes, but it will be a lot less humiliating to mingle once everyone's gathered in one spot. I feel like you've already realized this, but I must point out, it could be quite some time before everyone gathers together. We all just ate and there are no school-wide events currently scheduled.
Now see here.
Are you going to stay in the lab all day? If a hermit like me could introduce myself, you ought to be able to.
So what?
This is a mock killing game, right? Whoever's organizing it realizes that we've all had time to make whatever introductions we're going to. It won't take long before they decide to get us all together. For a moment, her sudden disappearance worries me. I'm embarrassed to find myself calling to check on her safety. However, only a moment later, the genuine article steps onto the Ataru rail with me. Miss Xavier appears to be moving alright. Neither her sweater vest nor her pristine white lab coat reveal any hints of the blood from her earlier scheme to prove her status as an automaton. She takes a seat across the aisle from me with her arms crossed and a frown on her face, perhaps keeping distance so that others don't bombard us with questions about our relationship to one another. Or perhaps she just likes to have her space. Somehow seeing her in person here makes me feel a bit guilty about what I said earlier. I've been denying her at every turn, and yet she just claimed she'd protect me at any cost despite all of that. I should say something to her, maybe apologize, but as I open my mouth to do so, a voice suddenly speaks up over the Atari rail speaker, drowning out the common, amiable feminine one that had been mechanically advising passengers to stay in their seats while the car is in motion. The new voice is that of an overly macho soldier type, and all around much more suited to the military academy setting. The speaker doesn't sound like anyone I've heard on the island so far. Actually, their speaking pattern reminds me of one thing only, the writing upon the ominous poster on the Atari rail's cabin wall. Listen up, cadets. This is your superior officer, the chief of staff speaking. This is the first time we're being introduced, so I want everyone at attention. That's enough lollygagging and glad-handing. A soldier could be fooled into thinking that you all excel at nothing more than chewing the fat. Can't call that a talent. Though my belly aching aside, I have to say, you all have done an exemplary job setting in and putting names to faces so far. You got to know who you've got in your foxhole with you. Treat this whole damn island like it's your foxhole. I hope all of you feel like you can cozy up in that tight dark space. And just feel totally at ease with whoever's sweaty muscles are bunched up against yours, like a real band of brothers. Do you feel that way, cadets? What the hell is he talking about? The speaker has been rambling for a good long while now, but I feel like each word he speaks is taking him further from making a point. Now feel like comrades in arms yet? We'll get you there, cadets. You know what I bet would help? Our very first mandatory academy briefing. I want all of you on the Atari rail pronto, double time. Failure to report in will result in disciplinary action. Let's all support each other on our first day here. This is your first step in becoming the first graduating class of Hope's Valley Military Academy. Make our chief proud. Dismissed. I really hope that I'm not the one that designed the personality of this game master, if that is indeed who the chief of staff is. I feel I should analyze those words of his more closely, but they all seem like banter and nonsense. Frankly, I'll be lucky if I can think at all, with all the others' voices buzzing inside the train car in a moment. Some of them, like Miss Loki and Miss Donaway, are insufferably loud. At least I'll be able to keep myself for most of the ride. Miss Xavier will be a useful distraction in my stead. To be honest, associating with so many others has been exhausting. I've introduced myself to more new faces today than I had for the past year. My prediction comes true once the others begin to board. As they enter the Atari rail, the excitable among them begin to swarm her like buzzing flies. I thought we already had an ultimate researcher. Is there a whole ultimate research team? How many members were you hiding in that clown car of a laboratory?
Don't be an idiot.
I'm the ultimate research assistant. You know damn well two people can't share an ultimate designation. That'd be against the standards set by the Future Foundation. There was another person I hadn't seen yet on the drone's feed? How'd you stay hidden?
Don't be an idiot.
If your drone can't open doors, then that's all there really is to it. I was inside a building.
Oh, fine.
To think the drone had such an obvious flaw. Maybe I can do some modifications and add a mechanical arm. Would you... I'm not helping you graft an arm onto your ridiculous toy. It's actually pretty refreshing watching her go through it all with with them. I'd say it's a bit like payback for her avoiding taking part in the introductions earlier. Unfortunately, my peace and quiet is not to last. After a quick introduction, the ultimate drill sergeant makes her way over to sit in the seat beside mine with a big grin on her face. Something's got her excited, though it could be the atmosphere of a killer game, something she's unusually excited about.
Carnations!
So you met up with a friend in here, huh? Pretty lucky.
Now see here.
For starters, I wouldn't call us friends. She's colder to me than people I'm just meeting for the first time with no proper acquaintance. Beyond that, I question whether I call that luck. It's not purely a boon to be placed inside one of these games with a friend. Your odds of making it out together are not favorable. And it sounds like you to think someone's gonna die.
Now see here.
Nonsense. I'm confident in our ability to resolve this without bloodshed, but it's only wise to consider the worst case scenario. Is that what you're doing over there on your lonesome, just pondering?
Darn tootin'.
You know, in all my training drills, we prove time and time again that teamwork and trust are key to getting out of a tough jam like this. You're just gonna regret it if you don't get along with other folks. You may be right. I'll try to put in the effort. Speaking of which, we are missing someone, are we not?
Carnations!
Are we? Tarnations, I thought that was everybody. Ain't we hit every stop before the event plaza by now?
Impossible.
Yes, and the ultimate survival prepper still has not boarded. Dang it, what? Dang idiot. Don't he realize he might get executed if he don't show up? Some survival guy, huh?
Now see here.
I'm sure he's got his own plans. It's worth remembering, a consistent detail between every one of us captives appears to be some level of killing game experience. If he knows the routine, he knows insubordination won't be tolerated by the game's organizer. The young lady's ordinarily chipper demeanor suddenly faded just now. While one half of my conscience is begging me to take this blessed silence, another part of me insists I intervene. Is the situation finally getting to you, Miss Dunaway, or are you concerned for Mr. Debunker? No, it ain't that. It's just what you said just now about killing game experience. Kinda goes back to our earlier talk too. I've been thinking about it since we talked. I'm the only one of us who ain't got no killing game experience. Even you, Vicky. Even if you haven't been in one, you've been living in them, sounds like.
I ain't likely to say sorry.
So just this once, I may have to admit I was the one out of line. There ain't anybody who's got more experience than this group here. I'm proud to learn from every one of y'all. But I ain't gonna be the weak link in this platoon or any other partner.
Very well.
Miss Dunaway, I wouldn't worry about that. Honestly, you seem more interested in teamwork than anyone here in the first place. I was a bit harsh earlier. It's true that you shouldn't underestimate the game, but you do have preparatory training that cannot be discounted. Along with the level of optimism that can be a blessing in a scenario like this, of course. I don't think anybody's going to be remiss to have you on our team, especially considering we have a survival prepper that lays claim to an entire facility for himself. Hehe.
Darn tootin'.
Well, when you put it that way, I guess I feel a little better. You know, you're alright, Vicky. I read you all wrong. Kinda thought you were the lone wolf type. Haha, calling it the lone wolf type is phrasing it nicely. I'm a bit of a shut-in out of both personal preference and an abundance of caution. You raise a good point though. Trusting each other and getting along should reduce anyone's desire to kill. Bonding isn't something we should look at as wasted time. It has a practical purpose.
You maggots!
Haha, and you killed my good faith in your dead already. You managed to make friendship sound like it's some kind of statistic.
Well, thank you kindly.
But I won't forget to try to give me a little pep talk anyway. Perhaps I've been looking at things too close-mindedly. It's not as though I should avoid talking to the others. Miss Dunaway isn't so unreasonable as I thought on our first encounter. It just took a bit of time. I suppose I'll look for more opportunities to come. I suppose I'll look for more opportunities to become better friends with the others, assuming we don't find some expedient way out of this. It will have to happen later. For now, we've arrived at the event plaza. We exit out the rail car in a most single file line. Hey, the title of the game. With me at the rear. It doesn't seem like Miss Xavier made any close friends during her chats, given that she's still walking alone ahead of me. In fact, with the exception of Skip and his brother Hoyt, none of the others seem to be a natural fit together. They share some experience in killing games, but that's about it. It will be important to break down this distance between us. Distrust and seclusion both hurt against us in this setting. Speaking of which, I'm still holding out hope that Mr. Debunker makes an appearance at the event, but it's not looking good. No people are present here besides those of us that just arrived. This setup is a bit childish and I'm not sure I'd say it's befitting of a military academy. This instead looks like the sort of stage where teachers would hand out participation awards to children. A suspicious looking television is standing in front of the stage, which is empty aside from the standing microphone. This looks exactly like the sort of thing Monokuma would show up on. Its rolling stand makes it as tall as a person. Right now its screen is basically blank, so all I can do is speculate on how it will be used. Victor. Miss Xavier, I trust your introductions went off without a hitch.
Don't be an idiot.
Mostly. I can't say I'm any happier than you are about having to spend time with these clowns. It's funny. It feels like she's thinking the exact opposite of what I am, in regards to warming up to the others. I guess it's about time, huh? We'll see the true shape of this ridiculous game. Seems like the chief of staff who came up with is going to be one truly dubious character.
Now see here.
If I may, Miss Xavier, perhaps you shouldn't be whispering about this with the others so close.
So you do have a brain.
You have a point. Between the spy and the space invader, it's going to be hard to keep secrets safe. Space invader? The nosy one. She's troublesome. Give her a chance. The two of you both seem to have a common interest in machines, at least. Perhaps you could bond over that.
Don't be an idiot.
Please, spare me. Maybe you actually have more in common with Hoyt. Hey, back to the topic of machines. It looks like something's changing on that big screen. Sure enough, a pattern of static in white and black has begun to play on the screen. We've all been through something like this before and I'd imagine we all have the same expectation of who will appear. What's going to show up, Monokuma? The mastermind? Maybe we'll get lucky and it will be an instructional video for the Military Academy's training program. What a blessing that would be, to learn that I've been only jumping in the shadows and all this is really the work of the Future Foundation. Whatever I thought it might be, I wasn't expecting a figure who showed up once the static cleared. The figure on screen is that of a young man in a heavy jacket and oversized backpack. His hair is unkempt and long, as though he's been surviving in the wilderness for a long time. However, the presence of a gas mask upon his face clues me in as to who he must be. Hello, everyone.
Now see here.
Mr. Debunker, I take it you're the one who called us all here. Gak, is that true? Oh, I was on the right track then. Trying to get into that bunker? So he was controlling everything from inside the safety of that facility. Now that we know where the mastermind behind all of this is, taking him down will be easy. Leave it to my unopposable wrong target elimination.
Did I hear that right?
That might be a bit hasty. Sorry, but you're still not getting to that armory, sweetie.
You dare?
Try to follow my wrong logic string. Do you not wish for me to assassinate Charles the Bunker?
I think not.
Perhaps we should listen to what else he has to say before we devise ways to murder him.
Terribly sorry.
Thank you, that's very kind of you, Miss Spymaster. It's nice to finally be able to speak to you all, a little closer to face. I've been able to track everyone's activities so far using tools available inside the bunker. Those include links to surveillance systems and also to this robot. It will allow me to be a little more available to all of you, so that you needn't come to the bunker to speak. Well, how do you do? That's a swell thing to have around. Mighty handy.
Screw that.
It's fucking annoying is what it is. Do you honestly think whatever chuckleness is beyond this is going to let you attend mandatory meetings using that hunk of junk?
But of course.
Oh indeed, I've confirmed as much already with the base's chief of staff. The base's superintendent? I've met no such person, Monsieur Debunker. I hadn't seen hide nor hair of them either, until I showed up here, that is. We chatted briefly before all of you showed up.
You maggots!
Well, where the heck is he now? Let's get this show on the road. He disappeared just before you all arrived. Something about dramatic effect. Yeah, and you don't know the meaning of it, cadet. This is blatant insubordination. I hope you're prepared for disciplinary action.
Now see here.
You, it's that voice again. Show yourself. Trying to give me orders, cadet. It's not gonna work. I'm not into role reversal. This ain't that kind of operation. I'm open to try it once we get to know each other. Fortunately, none of us will be strangers for long. After that, it's gloves off. Yeah. Like real comrades.
What a disgrace.
It is most uncouth to hold a conversation without first showing yourself.
No?
Yeah, dirty jokes from some sweaty jarhead I can't even see isn't my idea of a good time. You wanna come out here already? Well, the moment's already ruined. Oh. Everybody, bare arms. Stand at attention. I wanna see those salutes up. Back straight, feet forward, chest out. Salute your chief of staff, Ataru Kuma. After all that build-up, so we got a JoJo character as Monokuma. We're all understandably a bit underwhelmed when the chief of staff finally reveals himself to be a little more than another Monokuma knockoff. His appearance is slightly altered with a camouflage pattern, replacing his backside, a red bandana around his eye, and a soldier's helmet covering his ears. But other than that, he's the same plush toy we all recognize. We all stare in silence, waiting for him to make the first remark. Cadets, this is the sorriest excuse for attention I've ever seen. Not a single one of you is giving a proper salute.
No good. Low down.
Hey, I saluted. I always salute. A proper salute. A proper salute is where you reach out your hand, grab your fellow soldiers and pull him inside, looking him square in the eye. You feel his pulse in your grip. You feel the beating of each other's hearts.
Screw that.
You gotta be joking.
Did I hear that right?
How are you supposed to do that when you're on stage and we're down here?
Don't be an idiot.
And why the hell would we want to? What we have here is a failure to communicate. You greenhorns seem to have a couple of misconceptions about how things are going to work around here. I want to be your fellow soldier, your comrade, your brother. Maybe something a little different than a brother so that it's not weird if we mess up and fool around. But I will not tolerate insubordination. You'll show me the respect due a superior officer. I'm the chief of staff around here, damn it. In return for your proper respect and subordination, I'll guide you through the top-notch curriculum here at Hope's Valley Military Academy. When I'm through with all of you, you'll be exemplary soldiers of hope, the first generation of a long line of soldiers capable of fighting back against despair. Wait, so you're telling me we're actually just here for trading? That wasn't a trick? Cross my heart and hope to die to be dishonorably discharged.
Terribly sorry.
I wouldn't celebrate too early, everyone. Yeah, for starters, you haven't told us what kind of training you have in mind. I doubt it's anything like the fake training exercise at Debbie's school. What was that? Yeah, there's nothing fake about what we're doing here.
Did I hear that right?
Well, it's okay if it's a little fake. We're talking about killing games, right? There we are. I can't accomplish anything half-assing training for something like this.
Impossible.
You can't mean. If you all interrupt me one more time, it's gonna be a demerit. Yes, you guessed it. We're gonna play ourselves a killing game, complete with murders, clues, trials, and executions. You all know a thing or two about those, I figure. Shit.
No siree.
Well, blow me down. No, thank you. But another killing game? Just how many of these does an escape artist have to escape? Demerits at all of you. The rules are going up on your Ataru pads right now, although I think you're familiar with most of them. We're gonna be doing this by the classic rules, familiar from Junko Enishima's game. If somehow those important details slipped out of your head, first I recommend you reflect upon your lack of discipline in solitary. Then I recommend you reference that handy Ataru pad of yours. As if any of us would be so foolish as to forget those rules. I wouldn't forget them any sooner than my tenants. probably helps that they're like 100 times easier to remember than that laundry list. Okay. Be sure to check this information if you ever forget the game's rules. Okay. Prohibited, yada yada. Academy rules, namely the island. CP anywhere, yada yada. Alright, return. And remember, the most important rule of all, it's the Ataro pad. Read your Ataro pad on the Ataro rail with your good buddy Ataro Kuma. We don't use the M word around here. Keep that vulgar beast name out of your mouth. He is the enemy and you gotta hate the enemy. Speak the devil's name at your own peril. I, on the other hand, am a friend, a completely different bear than that devil.
Screw that.
You don't seem so different to me. You're making us play a game with the exact goddamn rules as the games most of us escape from. Don't you greenhorns know about self-sacrifice? You're taking one for the team to ensure the well-being of future generations. Besides, I've got total faith in all of you. This isn't your first rodeo, right? You got the know-how already. Another killing game. Another killing game. Not again. As a Mademoiselle of Mystery, I appreciate the rare vote of fate, but I have to admit, I'd rather have a partner from these exercises. I signed up for classes, not for killing anyone. Oh shit, I think I have to stop here. Sorry for cutting it short, fellas. I gotta do something this weekend today. So yeah, this is Danganronpa SINGLEFILE. Oh boy, so that's Tarakuma, huh? If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.